Hello everyone, this is Danielle Callens, and I'm going to show you an awesome tool called Kahoot. It is an assessment tool that you can create customized quizzes on, and you create these quizzes online and it saves them in the cloud. And they're something that brings fun to assessments, which is something that's not always there when you're talking about assessments. Sometimes assessments can really be a drag and can be very old school, pen and paper, pencil and paper, a Scantron. And so this really brings some technology directly into the assessment and can really get your students engaged in what they're learning about. And so if you don't have an account, you click the sign up button here, or you simply log in. And when you log in, it opens up another tab that looks like this. And so this is the Discover tab in your account with Kahoot, and it gives you access to all the different Kahoots that people make. Like NASA creates these quizzes that are 9, 10 questions or so, and they're about all these different topics. And so you have moon phases for science, you can have biodiversity, Native Americans, World War I causes, and they're all these different quizzes, and by excellent sources. This is from Britannica. These are from Arizona State University. Like, these are all from NASA. And so there are different tools that you can use and quizzes you can access without even having to create your own. But today we're going to create our own. So you're going to hit the create button up here in the top right hand corner. And so there's 3 different types of Kahoots you can make. And so you can make a simple quiz with multiple choice answers, a jumble, which is more for patterns or different things like that, where you can drag answers into the correct order, and surveys, which of course gather opinions and can also double as assessments. And so one thing I think that's cool is this jumble feature, actually, because this jumble feature can be really cool depending on the grade level you're teaching, to use, fine motor skills and have students really drag things across the screen, and good for patterns and different things like that. So I kind of think that's a really cool tool that Kahoot has. But today we're just going to make a multiple choice quiz. And so once you click that, you'll be brought to this screen here, which is where you start to create your quiz. And so I'm going to do a quiz over the life cycle of a frog. And so once you have your title, you want to add a quick little description of some sort. And so I'm going to add the description, the basics of the life cycle of a frog. And it also allows you to use hashtags, which are pretty much just categorizing tools. And so when, just like on that Discover page, if I went and searched frog, this Kahoot would come up. Or if I searched life cycles, this Kahoot would come up. And just the same with 3rd grade or science or anything like that. And so that's one thing that's kind of cool about this, is that it allows you to really share the tools the things you've created with other teachers. And so it's a tool that allows you to access other things other teachers have created, and they can access what you've created. But for now, I'm going to make sure that I can only see this. And so that's also a cool thing you can change if you want people to see it or not. And you, of course, can pick a language. It'll save it to My Kahoots. And I want to add a cover photo for my quiz. And of course I want a picture of a big, beautiful frog. So let me see if I can find one. And something that's cool is you can simply drag and drop a photo, and it will upload. And that will be your cover photo for the quiz. So now I have a beautiful picture of a frog for my cover photo. And also Kahoot allows you to credit your resources. Let's give our credit where it's due, and where we get our information, especially nowadays, to let people know that we went and researched and found this information for when we needed it. And also you can add a little YouTube video on there if you want an intro video. It could be an intro video of you explaining how to do the Kahoot or what this Kahoot is about. But also, I'm going to add this link of a YouTube video for the life cycle of a frog that I would use in this lesson, to give an overview of what this quiz is going to be about and make sure my students have all the information. And so once you do that, you're going to want to click the OK Go button up here. And now you have all this completed. Now it's time to add some questions. And another cool thing is, say you have a lesson already planned, you have your questions planned out and everything. If you have those questions, if you put them in a spreadsheet, you can simply upload that spreadsheet and all your questions will be populated here. But for now, we're going to create our questions in a Kahoot. So once you click add questions, it'll bring you up here. It'll be question number 1. It's kind of the same. You can add a photo, you can add some resources, but these are a little different. So of course you need a question. And so we're going to ask, are frog eggs laid on land or water? And so now that you have your questions, you need your answer choices. So my answer choices would be land or water. Now how do you know which one's the correct answer? The correct answer actually is water. And so you're going to simply click this little check mark right here. It's going to turn green, and that's going to, now you've let the system know that that is your correct answer for this question. And then you can also edit the time limit, and you know that can go based on your grade level, reading level, anything like that, to make it a little easier. I typically, making it age appropriate of course, but I typically add the seconds per the answer choice, or how many answer choices I have. So I have 2 in this case, so I'm going to put it for 20 seconds. And then I'm going to want this question to award points, and we're going to go over the points a little later. So now we're going to go next and add another question. And since we've added that one question, it's been populated here, and you do have some options to delete the question, duplicate this question, or go back and edit the question. And so now I'm going to add another question, and I think this one's going to be, does a newly hatched tadpole breathe with lungs or gills? And so that's my question. And so I'm going to add my answer choices, lungs or gills. And so now I'm going to, of course, mark which one's correct. So it's actually gills. And so, like I said before, I tend to add the time limit based on the amount of answer choices I have. And so I'm going to put this one at 20 seconds as well, and I also wanted to add points. And I don't think I need to add a photo for this because I mainly just want the question to be the important part. So now we're going to hit next, and we're going to add one more question. But one more thing I want to show you before that is these little dots right here. This allows you to drag, and you can change the order of the questions. So if you think, oh, this one needs to be a little later, you simply drag it down here and it switches the order. Or you can go the other way around. It's kind of cool. And so now we're going to add one more question. After a frog hatches, what is that animal called? And so now we're going to add our answer choices. And as you can see, I added 3 answer choices in this instance. And so I'm going to add 10 seconds to this question as there's another answer choice to read. And we are going to click the correct answer, which would be tadpole. And just like the other questions, you can either credit a resource or add a photo, let it award points, or anything you'd like to do with that. And so now we're going to hit next. And now in thinking of the order of my questions, I do actually want to move this one up here. And so I'm going to leave that one there. And just like the same on each question, you have the option to edit, duplicate, or throw it away, or just straight delete it. And then you can add more questions or import a spreadsheet, of course, like I said before. And so now I'm going to click Save. And now you have the option to share your Kahoot, play the Kahoot, preview it, or edit it. And for this, we're going to preview it. And it'll open a new tab. And this is what your Kahoot would look like. And it's going to load. And so this right here is an example of the cell phone, iPad, or computer that they could go to. They go to Kahoot.com, and we're going to play in classic mode. Or you could play in team mode, which is where students can play in the groups that they sit with in the classroom. But we're going to do one-on-one with different devices, and we're going to click Classic. And so now it opens here, and when you're ready to join, you go here and it gives you a pin. And so this is where you type in the pin on your device, so you could display this screen on your projector, and this is what your students will be seeing over here on this phone. So now we're going to enter the pin and click enter. And now you can choose a nickname, and so this is where you can have your students use their name or have them be creative and create a nickname. For lots of students, I think it'd be easier just to use your name, or if they're in groups, they could do table 1, table 2. And so let's call it HBU. And okay, and so once that's been added, it will show up on the screen up here, and it also gives you a warning for naughty nicknames. And then this is what your students will see on their screen. And so once all the students have been added, you simply click Start. And there's our cover photo and what we're talking about, how many questions and if they're ready. So the first question is, after a frog hatches, what is the animal called? And it's got some cool music, and here you get to pick the answer choices. And so we're going to click our answer choice over here on the phone. And so this is where the points come in. So I got the answer right. These were the wrong answers. These are how the answers show up on the screen, and I get points. And each individual student that's playing can gain points. The sooner you answer the question, the more points you get. And so it also can give you a little scoreboard. And then you hit next. Are frog eggs laid on land or water? And so now you get to pick the answer choice again. And the faster you pick, the more points you get. In this case, I answered the question incorrectly, and so this is what the screen looks like if you answer a question incorrectly. So we're going to hit next again and go through our last question. Does a newly hatched tadpole breathe with lungs or gills? And the answer is gills, so we're going to come over here and answer that question. And like I said, I answered it faster this time, so I got 900 points opposed to the last time I answered a question right, which I only got 800. And so now this is the podium, so this is what it looks like once the quiz is complete. And so this is what it looks like when you award the points. And so you can also get the results and get however many points and however many questions people answered correctly. And so one thing that's cool is you can save these results. And so once you save them, you can download them directly, or you can save them onto a drive if you have online. And something that's cool about that is, so you created this whole assessment. How do I get the results off the computer? This is how. You can save the results on the questions of these quizzes to see how your students truly do. And so now we're going to go back to our Kahoot, and this is where your Kahoot will be saved, and it'll stay in your account for you to use whenever you'd like to. Or you can organize it into folders if you do have the subscription. But that's something that's cool about Kahoot, is that you can save the results, you can get your students engaged. There's many different ways you can form assessments, whether it be individually or groups or anything like that. And so it's a fun tool to kind of play around with and have a good time with. So I do hope you enjoyed this, and I do hope that you use Kahoot and that it changes your classroom, because I've had a whole lot of fun with it. And it was a pleasure showing you guys this tool.